Greeting once again, my friends. Welcome to session 3 or day 3, depending on how you're going about this 21 video series. Noting that these first few videos are all on the basics of yoga and also today QiGong. As we're getting more in touch with a practice I've created called Energy Union, which combines the two practices together alongside goal setting, or better labeled by myself, future projection, as in these are the things I must experience, that I'm going to keep focusing on, I'm going to implant throughout my nervous system, throughout my bloodstream, throughout my DNA, throughout my whole self, inside and out, past, present, and future. So, today we're starting in a standing position. We still have our notepad. Remembering our notepad is going to be for things which we want to remember later. These can be to-dos that you want to just get out of your mind that you can take care of later today. You don't need to focus on now. These can be things that you want to remember from these videos, and these can be things that you want to experience at some point in the future, or maybe now and you're working on now, a goal, a future projection, something that you want that isn't necessarily obviously present right now. And we're going to practice learning later on how we already do have these things, and we're going to have actual workshops in writing, because that's a skill in and of itself. But first to QiGong. QiGong is an ancient Chinese practice, and the two words translate qi, or life force. I like to also label it bioelectricity. This is the energy, or qi, that's flowing through our bodies all the time, that we learn to direct. It's already flowing, just like our bloodstream, just like our breath, but we can learn to manually direct it inside, outside of the body, clean, clear meridian lines or energy lines connected to our vital organs, as well as safely get in touch with ourselves and those around us, as we have energy fields that are touching the walls or spaces all around us, including other people, plants, animals, and it takes a little bit of practice in order to not only get in touch with those energies, but know how not to absorb them, but to instead create a protective field around them, holding space for people and whatever they're going through, physically, mentally, emotionally, so that you can hold space for your universe to get better, not just yourself. So, we begin in ready position. Oh, and gong, qi, life force energy, gong, means study or discipline or work. We put our two fists together and we come down and measure out the space in between our feet. From your toes to your heels, parallel lines 2 fist distance apart. This is measuring out your hip and shoulder width. And then we begin with our hands on our hips and we lift up all 10 toes off of the mat. We do this so we can get in touch with the soles of our feet, and we just begin to sway our weight around in small circles. If you like, you can close your eyes a little bit. These are very tiny circles, just getting you in touch with your connection with the mat. As I roll forward, I feel the energy or the weight shift into the balls of my feet, to the side, back into the heels, the other side, and back forward again. I'm going to sway my weight around in smaller and smaller circles, spiraling to the center and getting in touch with an even amount of pressure in both feet. Once you have that even amount of pressure in both feet, reach the toes up, inhale, and then exhale, pinky to big toe, bring them all down to the mat and grip the ground or grip the mat. And take a moment just to be in touch with where your feet are, getting in present with this moment, letting go of the past, letting go of the future, and just being where you are on the earth, in the space right now. This is the first step into noticing how our standing posture is. Because you'll notice if you're leaning to one side, you can feel the pressure in one foot. If you're leaning too far forward in the balls of the feet, and so on. So the quickest reference to your good standing posture is even amount of pressure in the feet. The next step are the knees. So let's lock out our knees, and we don't want to add excess tension to the connective tissue, so we put the knees just out of lock, micro bend in the knees. With our hands on the hips, scoop the pelvis under and forward. Keep scooping until you feel a tightness beginning to engage in your lower abdomen, somewhere near your belt line. And then just like our seated posture, we're going to inhale and pull the navel in and up, drawing air through the lungs through the nose. Fill up the lungs, pause, hold that navel gently in and up, and then exhale, slowly relax your hands, your lower vertebrae, your hips, legs, ankles, and feet. Now from the chest, inhale and bring the center of the chest up to the ceiling or the sky. And then, to get into a ready QiGong posture, we're going to pull our shoulders back. Gently pinch your shoulder blades together behind your heart. And exhale, round your hands forwards, making a nice round shape in your arms. Make sure that your elbows aren't too far bent. And we're creating space underneath the armpits. We're bowing the elbows forwards a little bit. You should feel a little bit of tension in your arms. And then a palm-facing palm connection about the level of your belly. And then we're going to inhale, touching the tip of the tongue up against the upper palate right behind your teeth, and rise up from the crown. Standing up tall, still gentle pressure from the center of your belly and up, the center of your chest and up, your tongue up, your crown up. Shift your head back, bring your chin a little bit more to your chest, and exhale, relax your head, jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, side body, hips, legs, and feet. And take a couple moments just to create some muscle memory in this posture. We have a strong but subtle pulling in and up from our midlines all the way up through our crown. And everywhere else relaxes as best as it can. See if you can use some of your natural breaths to ease any tension you're feeling. Now we're going to begin to generate some qi outside of the body. Inhaling and exhaling in and out the nose. Bring your hands apart a few inches on the inhale, and then bring them back together on the exhale. Vision as if you had qi taffy stuck to your palms, and as you inhale, that taffy stretches and pulls at your palms. You may be able to feel some tinglies or some heat in your hands. Exhale, you allow it to condense back together. Slow inhale, expand. Slow exhale, contract or surge the energy. Press in between your arms. Two more breaths. Pause, and with the energy that you've cultivated in between your hands and your arms, you may not feel it too much at first, maybe you do, but pause and gently, diagonally direct that energy into your body. So gently pulsate on the space in between your hands and your lower abdomen, also known in QiGong as your lower dantian, or your lowest energy center, relating to the physical energy body. And then we're going to move into toroidal breathing, bringing the hands closer to the body, palms still facing body. Inhale through your nose and rise up with your arms, filling up your lungs. Maybe start with the nose, finish up with the lips. Reach your hands and your crown up, ground with your feet and tailbone down, and then relax your shoulders down, your elbows, your wrists, and exhale with straight arms, maybe a little bit bend in the elbows. Bring your hands down the outside edges of your toroidal field, this donut-shaped sphere connecting our north and south poles, or our crown and our perineum. Breathe all the way out. And then all the way in, rise back up through the midline. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Stretch those lungs. Stretch the whole body. Relax arms, neck, head, side body. Breathe out and cleanse your torus. Smooth it out. This is also known as smoothing out the edges of your universe. We inhale, we move fire-based chi up the midline, burning through blockages between the physical energy center, the emotional energy center, and the mental energy center. Exhaling, releasing the smoke from what doesn't serve. Let's do one more breath in this direction. Inhaling up the midline, breathing in through the nose. And exhaling out the nose. Be sure to move slowly and breathe out completely. Then we're going to inhale, move our hands up to our heart center, and exhale, reverse direction. Breathe out, hands moving down the midline. Pause, turn palms face out, and as if gravity were above you, or your arms begin to evaporate up to the sky, water-based chi collects above the body as we breathe in. And then as if gravity were resisting, we have to exhale and pull that chi down through the midline like we're holding a big rope. Inhale, swoop the arms down, out, and up. Lift the gaze this time with the hands. And then lower the gaze with the hands. Again, inhaling up, rise up with the gaze. And exhale, filling up that upper, middle, and lower dantian, flooding through the connective rivers of chi in between them, washing out all the things we've just burned up. Let's do one more time. Exhale, move the hands through, and as you do so, scan the body. So as my hands pass by my crown, my face, my head, I feel it, and I feel my upper chest, my heart center, my abdomen, hips, legs, all the way down to my feet and toes. And then to check in, we bring palm over the lower dantian. That's right at your belt line, maybe an inch or two beneath your navel. And we check in. They say that for men, the right hand is over the left hand, and for women, the left hand over the right hand. I say that though we may be men and women, still at a deeper level, we are just genderless energy. So maybe you're needing more masculine energy if you're a woman, maybe you're needing more feminine energy if you're a man, or some combination can switch from day to day. I say practice using your intuitive mind. That's what feels right to you right now. And we just check in and note, how am I thinking, feeling in this moment? Give a conscious breath to any place in the body, mind, or emotions that you feel needed. Then we're going to walk in place and move intuitively. This is kind of our little break session, so if you're noticing that a place was holding too much tension or felt like it could be wiggled or moved around, maybe massaged or tapped a little bit, these can be pre-existing or past injuries, or maybe even things that you're not totally aware of. This is also practicing the intuitive mind. So moving intuitively, patting around, getting yourself comfortable, and we set up for our next. So, the torus, or big donut shaped energy field, is our primary feminine energy field, as it's all curves. Our primary masculine energy field is the Merkaba, or Merkaba. And there's two big tetrahedrons, or pyramids, intersecting each other, making a star tetrahedron. We know this two-dimensionally as the Star of David, or two triangles intersecting each other, one pointing up, one pointing down. And they're spinning around us in these directions. And a lot of people, or I've heard it as being labeled the chariot of the soul. This is what maybe our soul travels through the universe or different dimensions. I'm not exactly sure. I've never seen it with my naked eye, but this is how I understand it. And unlike the torus, we're not necessarily learning about how to move and smooth it out. We're more just getting acquainted with it being there. So we start with our hands palms face down. And visualize in your mind as if you're wading in a glassy pool of water. And that water rises up somewhere in between your lower abdomen and your heart center. So allow your hands to kind of float to the surface level of that water. You should be able to feel it. Any lower, and it feels like I might be pressing into water, submerging my hands. Any higher, and I'm not touching that water anymore. And this can fluctuate day to day. So find where it is for you today. Once you have it, keeping your hands at that level, doing your best to not disturb the water. Inhale and scoot the hands slowly away from your chest or abdomen. And then exhale, slowly twist around to your right. Breathing out, slowly twist. Keep twisting until your arms naturally want to spiral in towards your side. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. Breathing all the way out to the opposite side. Inhale, slowly come back again to center. Exhale, once again to the right, and repeat this process for a few breaths. Stretching the arms forward in front of us on the full inhale, and exhale, twisting slowly to the opposite side. Now, if you have a good imagination or a good ability to visualize in your mind, you might notice that it's very, very hard, if not maybe impossible, to not disturb the surface level of the water at least a little bit. Just in touching it, our natural vibration are sending ripples out as far as the eyes can see, slightly disturbing that water. And we use that. We use that as a reference in noting we do not need to make a big splash in life in order to create a big difference. In fact, the more consistently we move mindfully, the more control or influence we have over the world around us. A big splash might make a big noticeable difference, but it might not make the difference that we want, and it might disturb other people's experience. Not saying one method is right or wrong, but just noting that as we practice our yoga and our QiGong, we're learning to do things ever more aware. Let's do one more breath to the left. Breathe in, come back to center. Once again, filling up our lungs. And once we're centered, exhale and bring the hands back to the chest or the abdomen. And once again, we check back in, palm over the lower dantian. anything that may need a little bit of extra attention, a little extra breath. And use your mind to wash energy through. You might ask the different parts of your body, what color energy would you like? Let an intuitive response come back to you, and then breathe that color energy light into your body. And as you exhale, see it washing over that part of the body, cleansing it and releasing out any of the colors that weren't serving it. Back into the earth or the ethers, where they receive it without harm, or cycle it into something it can use. There's no need to hold on to traumas, no need to hold on to toxicity. Our natural birthright is well-being. It's not something you deserve, it's something that is innate. And this is a word that I heard that essentially means it's just what is meant to be. It's beyond deserve. So, walk in place, move intuitive. And we're going to conclude our QiGong practice by patting down the body, rubbing down the body with the Qi bath. So once we've cultivated a lot of Qi, you might notice that there are white splotches that appear in your hands as you bring more and more awareness to different parts of the body. A lot of nerve endings in the hands, and the nerves do not just end at the skin surface level, but they're reaching out. So you cultivate a lot of energy. Now we're going to bring as much energy back into the body and solidify it as possible. So we give ourselves a Qi bath, starting with the crown. We rub the crown, move down the sides of the head and the ears, back of the head, face. Move down our necks and throat, over to one shoulder and down one arm, up the inside of the arm, switch. Down the chest, down the abdomen, armpits and sides, upper back, mid to lower back. Then down our groins, our glutes, our hips, down the thighs, fronts, sides, and backs, and the hamstrings, going down to the backs of the knees, sides, fronts of the knees, down the shins and the calves, ankles, tops of the feet, toes, in between your toes, underneath one foot, underneath the other foot. Then we're going to clap back up. One foot, other foot, tops of the feet, ankles, shins, calves, all sides of the knees, thighs, glutes, hips, and groin, abdomen, chest, upper chest, sides, armpits, low back to mid back. Reach around, give yourself a pat on the back. Job well done. Arm one, arm two, and then a little bit lighter up the neck, face, and head. All the way up to the crown, where we pat, and then with all 10 digits, tap. Coming back into ready position. And thank you very much for the practice. Your presence and participation is very much appreciated. See you in session 4. Namaste.